Hey, I just watched Barbarian. It was written and directed by Zach Cregger, who you may know from Whitest Kid You Know fame, and it stars Georgina Campbell, Bill Skarsgård, and Justin Long. The plot of this film is that a young woman rents an Airbnb and discovers that the house is not what it seems. And that's all I can tell you without giving you any spoilers, so let's just get right into this movie itself. First and foremost, I went into this movie pretty blind. I only saw the teaser trailer for this movie. It had such a mystery box feel. I opted to just not look at any marketing for this movie. I avoided it like the plague. And I don't regret that decision. I think it really helped my experience. I would recommend, if you don't know anything about this movie yet, to just watch that first teaser trailer at most. So, what do I think about the movie? I think the movie was way funnier than I was expecting, especially because I only watched the first teaser, which was pretty serious feeling. This movie had way more comedy than I could have anticipated. Not that that's a bad thing. I really like the humor. I'm not surprised the humor is there, knowing that Zach helmed this. If you've watched anything from him in the past, I think his last previous feature film that had a serious any kind of budget behind it was Miss March, and that was quite some time ago. If you have ever seen anything from him, though, from his work, including The Whitest Kids You Know, I don't think you would be shocked to see that there's quite a bit of fairly decent and clever humor in this movie. Um, what I will say is that I think Justin Long was a really good choice in this movie because he handles comedy well himself. This isn't the first time that Justin Long has been in horror. He's actually made at least two horror movies that come to my mind right now. And one of them is quite good, which was Dragging Me to Hell. So anyway, getting back to it, who's going to like this movie? I think that horror audiences are going to like this movie no matter what. There is a lot to like here. This is a really solid horror film, and it tries to be unique, almost to a fault, but I'll get to that in a second. I think general audiences will like this movie, but they may struggle with it only because of structure of the film. But I think if they can get through a mid-section introduction that happens for the movie, they're going to be okay with the movie too, and they're going to like it overall. It's well worth it, some of its parts. There just may be some issues for people who like a very regular structured film. This movie definitely tries to deviate from that, which I think is great, and that is a good thing. But I can understand how that's going to turn some general audiences off. However, I will say that if you can see this movie in theaters this weekend, I would highly recommend it. This is a really good horror movie. Maybe could potentially be one of the best horror movies of the year. I think that Zach really tried to change things up. There's character decisions that try to subvert expectations, and it actually happens a lot, almost to a fault. I will say that was one thing I noticed. Probably my only major complaint, but it's a light complaint. Like, it's not something I want to like detract on the film too much. But there's so much subversion of expectations that it starts to become noticeable, at least to me. Like, you just feel the creator trying really hard to just keep subverting expectations repeatedly. But that's okay because I don't feel like you see it enough. So I'm not gonna like hate on the movie that much. I mean, it's either, at least somebody tries to do something different, or they go completely straightforward, and then you're gonna complain about that. So it's a minor issue. It's just something that I picked up on in the film. The movie makes really good use of darkness. I think that that's a really powerful tool in your arsenal as a filmmaker when you're doing something with horror. Is that fear of the dark? This movie excels at that. I really think that was handled extremely well. Outside of that, it's solidly acted. Bill Skarsgård never lets me down. I think Georgina Campbell was really wonderful. And I think this movie's going to do good in theaters. I think word of mouth could do well for this movie, and it will hopefully have a good run at the box office. If it does not, I cannot imagine this movie not doing well on streaming. I just can't. It's definitely got that kind of quality to it that I just know that people will pick up on this sooner or later. So, having said that, I think this movie's awesome. Go see it at theaters if you can, whether you have a subscription service or you got to pay out of pocket just regular tickets. If you can go see this movie in theaters and you're looking for a solid horror movie, you're not going to go wrong with Barbarian. It tries to change things up and freshen up the genre a little bit, and I think it was really well worth the time and effort that was put into making it. So, with that said, I appreciate you watching this video. If you like this type of content, you can click like and subscribe. And I'll also have a full cast listing down below in the description. Until then, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.